We're live.
Are we on your side, Mariette?
Yes.
Good. So, hi everyone. Welcome back to our Scrappy Sunday live chats. Today is the 25th of September and this is episode 8 already. We actually cannot believe it, but yeah, here we are. So, as a quick introduction, my name is Leanie. I've got the YouTube channel Independence Crochet and the Pickup Stitches podcast. And my colleague is Mariette, so I'll let her introduce herself.
Good day, everyone. Welcome back. We're so happy to have you here with our Scrappy Sunday chat, our monthly Scrappy Sunday chat. My name is Mariette, also known as the Boervrou, and I have the Crafty Stitches podcast on YouTube, and I am the Boervrou on Instagram, but everything is linked down below. This is actually episode 8 already, and as you can see, we have a guest. Her name is Sita, and she can introduce herself as well. Welcome, Sita.
Hi, Mariette. Thank you very much. Hello, Leanie. Very nice to be here with you ladies today. My name is Sita, and I am also South African, although I don't really spend a lot of time living in South Africa. I have quite a new podcast that I've started called the Shawl Knitter Unplugged. And on Instagram, my primary account is called Tribal Bling. And I also have another account that I really don't pay too much attention to, but it's there called My Wool World. So everything that I do online is about wool and fiber and knitting and color and also a bit of travel. So that's me.
Thank you very much, Mariette. I'm just realizing I'm not live on my channel, but I'm not gonna disrupt us because of that. I've made a comment on my channel for people to go over to yours. So, okay. Yeah, if you see me on the phone, that's what I'm doing. Sorry about that.
No, that's fine. I see we've got quite a few technological things because I see that on my side, the comments is only coming up on my phone. So we'll just carry on and take it slow.
We'll make this work. Sorry about
some days it goes and some days it doesn't. So
yeah.
We'll just make it work.
Good.
All right. Are we gonna get into it?
Yes, of course.
Okay. So I think let's put our guest Sita on the spot and start by asking Sita, what are you wearing? Because that's amazing.
Well, what I'm wearing today is, I think, quite apt for your Scrappy Sunday. It's my Scrappy, I call it Scrappy, but it's actually just called the Garter Marler cardigan, which I'll just stand up a bit. It's from West Knits. It's made out of all sorts of scraps. It's marled. It's 2 strands of fingering yarn. And yeah, I've ribbed the sleeves. It's very warm. I'm really, really enjoying it, even though I've just made it now at the end of winter. But yeah, it actually started its life out as a blanket. I knitted, I had so many scraps and this one big plastic crate, and I move around quite a lot. I'm quite nomadic and I don't have a huge amount of space for keeping things. So I like to use up as much as I can. So I set out to make this blanket, you know, just a blanket, not really for a bed, just to sort of have over my neck, my legs while I watch TV. And I was knitting it very, you know, avidly, fast, trying to get it done. And as it was lying on my legs and I was knitting it, I was just thinking, gosh, it's so beautiful. You know, it's just nobody's ever going to see this thing. It's only going to be on my legs when I'm sitting with my knitting here. So anyway, I knitted it, but I thought, I wonder if I'm going to repurpose this. And so it took it about 2 weeks for me to knit it. And I just sort of got to the end and I was really in love with it. I just wanted to look at it all the time. And then I discovered on Instagram a lovely marled fingering Garter Marler cardigan, just what I needed, which is actually true. I haven't knitted myself a cardigan ever, maybe. I can't remember. I don't know. I have a few sweaters that I've knitted, so I thought that's it. And I literally sat there with the blanket and I just started to frog it. I just frogged it back, exactly the way as it was knitted. It got frogged. And when I got to the beginning, I cast on the cardigan and off I went. And I'm not sorry. And I think it was a very good idea. And yeah, I'm very much in that kind of mood these days. You know, if I don't see the point in having something that I wish I was something else and I'll never use it, or yeah, I don't mind undoing the wool and making something else. I kind of feel like I'm getting double my money's worth out of my yarn, you know, when I knit something twice. And yeah, I didn't steam it, or I just wound it into balls. And in fact, I haven't even blocked it. I've just started wearing it and I thought, well, I'll block it when it needs a wash, I'll block it. But it's perfectly lovely. I've made it quite a lot longer than his one. And what else did I do? I did some slits in the ribbing because it's long. And then I wanted the sleeves to sort of hug me, you know. I didn't want floppy. Yeah, I hate it when my sleeves, when you've got to wash the dishes and you push the things up and everything falls down. And so I made these rib sleeves, and it's a 3x2 rib that I did throughout from the time I stopped the yoke. And it's just a fantastic idea. Let me tell you, I'm so happy about that. And then just sort of like the last 7 or 8 centimeters, I decreased so that I had a 2x2 rib. So it just naturally went into it. You don't see it at all. And I'm extremely happy with it. It's great. And so that's what I'm wearing and I love it. It's a lot of mixture. I would say it's probably about 50 or 60% of wool that I dyed. I couldn't tell you which and where because there's lots of yarn. 900 grams I actually used in the blanket. I weighed that blanket at the end. So I had almost a kilo of scraps, but I think about 780 went back into the jersey. So I just feel it's very economical and I'm very happy. You know, I love all the colors. It's beautiful. Everybody wants me to make them one and nobody's going to get one. So it's mine and I love it. Yeah.
Well, it is beautiful. Really, really pretty.
Thank you.
Done.
Thank you.
Is there some comments, Mariette?
Yes, we do have. Marina is here. She says hi. Hi, Marina. And she also says, hi, Sita. I found your podcast this morning. So Marina found you this morning.
Wonderful. Hi, Marina. Thank you. There's a new one out today. It should be out now as we speak.
Oh, great. Okay, and then Kerry Randall is here as well. She says hello from Australia. And Almarie is also here. Hello, everyone. I'm here despite load shedding. Oh, thank you, Almarie.
Wow.
Rosemary is also here. She also says hi. And then Ursula Ophoff is also here. She says, hi, ladies. Sorry, I can't stay. I have a family situation, so I will need to leave soon. Oh, that's fine. Thank you for popping in anyway. Thank you, Ursula. And then Yaline is also here. Hi, Yaline. She says, hello, Mariette, Leanie, Sita, and everyone. And Marina just comments with, thanks for having us. Thank you all for coming. We really appreciate it.
Thank you. Hi to everyone. I just did this, but thank you for joining. So I'm thinking, do you have some finished objects, Mariette?
Yes, I actually do. I do have a finished object. Let me just see.
I just want to pin you. Oh,
All right, so I have, as I said in the previous episode, that I want to make some keychains for the doors in my house. I actually started and I made the first one.
that's so cute.
Oh, lovely.
I started with a pink, and when I was down here, I was actually hearing Leanie saying something about, yeah, but things must be scrappy. And I thought, wait, let's switch colors. So I think it came out very nice. And I
That's
just
cute.
used some organza string here at the top, like organza ribbon, and knotted it up to the chain. So yes, it's made out of 100% cotton DK yarn. I must say my rounds is not that neat where I changed the color, so I'll have to look into how to fix that. But I think for a first colorful one, it came out very nicely. I'm very impressed with my amigurumi skills.
What did you use for stuffing, Mariette?
I used polyfill because I have a ton of it. I actually bought a bag as big as I am tall. So I've got a lot. So I decided I'll use that. And then if that runs out one day, I'll use all the scraps that I'm keeping, all the ends. Yes.
Okay. Did you only make one so far?
Yes, I just made one so far. And I'm going to not make all of them the same, but I might knit some and I might change the patterning as well. So yes, that is my only finished object.
Maybe I was not listening, but did you indicate the pattern that you used?
I actually linked it down below. I did not say. It is the amigurumi heart by, I can't remember now. I actually linked it down below on the pattern page. So if people would like to make it, because it's actually just the little heart on the pattern. So the rest I just improvised. So yeah, one of many done.
Okay, thank you. Sita, I know you got a few finished objects. I've been spying on your YouTube channel and I'm jealous. So would you mind sharing for us?
Sure. What are you particularly jealous of?
Those rain and shine socks.
Okay.
If you want to start there, I'm just saying.
Yeah, sure. Absolutely fine. Absolutely fine. I am actually knitting another pair now right here as we speak, but this is the first pair that I did. The screen seems to have gone. It seems to have gone a bit blurred, but I think it's okay.
We can see.
Can you see? So this is the first pair that I have done. And I've made this out of, gosh, no, did I bring it to it? Yes. A sock, this United Socks by Katja. So I've just recently discovered this yarn. Maybe you know it. I'm sure it looks, to me, it looks back to front, but it's called United Socks by Katja. And it is 75% wool and 25% polyamide. And it comes in these little 25-gram balls in these gorgeous, gorgeous colors, which are really, you know, fantastic for sort of mix and match. And so I've got about 7 or 8 colors, and then suddenly I found a reason to use them. But it's really a beautiful wool, actually. I would like to use it for not only socks. So that is what I'm making these out of. This is a very interesting pattern. It's the first time actually that I've knitted a sock with only 60 stitches. Now, normally the standard is 64. It's on a 2.5 mil that I knit on. And it's got this very interesting garter heel, which I love trying. I've tried out probably every kind of heel there is. Every time I try and find one that you know, is stronger. But I'm really liking the tightness of this. I think maybe also because it's a slip stitch pattern, you know, it holds it very nicely. But this now I think I've found my perfect fit with 60 stitches, because I recently made a lovely pair of cable socks, and it had 78 stitches, but I thought, well, that's because of the cables, which was true, but still, anyway. So I've made that pair, and then this is the second pair I'm busy with right now. And it's just a bit of my own hand dyed on the heel. I always just like to put some nonsense all over the place. And something else for the toe, you know, whatever I have. It's the idea of scraps, you know. I'm very big on using what I've got as much as possible with regards to scraps. And I'm even, because I have the ability to dye yarn, I over dye yarn a lot as well. You know, if I've used it up and I have some left over, and it's like, well, what can I put it with? I just put it in another dye bath and get a new color. So yeah, so I'm knitting a second pair, and I always like to have a pair of socks for traveling, you know, for when I'm waiting, going places. I do a fair amount of traveling, even in South Africa, you know, and I'll go by bus. I'm sitting in a bus for 3 or 4 hours, and so I've always got something to do. Shawls and other things are a bit large, and yeah, so I've got socks. This was a fun pair. Unfortunately, they're not dirty, but they're not just washed because I was wearing them. Another pair of scrappy socks that I made, where each sock is like totally different to the other one. And then when they like that, then I remember, like this one with the purple, that's the left foot. So then I never wear that on the right foot. I always wear that one on the left foot. I don't know what that means, but you know, I have left foot and right foot socks. And on this yarn, I must say, I tried that. I don't know if you've seen or tried this magic knot for joining wool that doesn't come out. You'll have to look on YouTube. It's just called the magic knot for yarn. And it's sort of an over and under and under and over, and you pull them together and you can cut it right down. Anyway, this was my test socks to see if that really worked. And yes, it works. So I was quite impressed with that, because, you know, to have all threads to weave in afterwards, or even to weave them in while, especially when it's a rib sock, I find it gives a bit sort of a different texture if you've got to weave it in while you're going. So that is all my socks at the moment that I've got. I'm on a mission to get rid of all my commercial socks. I refuse to darn the commercial socks. So I've thrown them out, and I'm making more hand knit socks. That's what I'm doing.
Thank you for sharing that.
Is there any
comments? Yes, I just wanted to say, can I quickly just read these comments? Edith is also here. She says, hello, everyone. And she's packing out her scrappy crochet blocks, trying to figure out if I should continue with them. And then Tracy is also here. She says, hi from England. Lovely to see you all again. Hi, Tracy. And Marie-Louise is also here. She also says hi. And then I did see on the channel, on the streaming here, I've got another comment that didn't come through on my phone. Suzette Gaiba van Sales also here. She also says, let me just translate because this is in Afrikaans. She says, hi everyone, I'm sitting and waiting, busy with some scrappy socks on her needles. And Adela has also just joined us. Hi Adela. She says, hello everyone, happy Scrappy Sunday. I'm knitting the Scrappy Striber by Piatrons at the moment, but mine isn't really scrappy. And that is all that I have for now.
Okay. That pattern that Adela just mentioned, is that the shawl pattern, or am I confused?
No, I don't. I'm not sure. I don't know the Scrappy Striber. I'll have to look it up. The one that we gave as a suggestion and last time is just called Scrappy Shawl, as far as I know, by Pia Trons. But this one is the Scrappy Striber, so I'm not sure. I have to look it up.
Pia does also use quite a lot of Scrappy projects. She has quite a few. And I think that the Striber might even be a cardigan. Might be, yeah. But I'm making the shawl. And if I can just talk about it.
Yes,
we can segue straight into whips.
Okay. Well, I must tell you, I kind of cast it on a whim because I had set aside a whole lot of yarn which I bought for a specific project, and I started making it and I really didn't like the way it looked. So I now had like 5 skeins of very beautiful tones that went lovely, together, browns and grays and berry pinks and purples. And so I love Pia's her patterns. I love her podcast, and I saw this shawl, and so I started knitting it, and it's really one of the most beautiful. Well, it's really a beautiful shawl. Never mind that it's scrappy, but it goes very fast because, for a very long time you're knitting this long triangular part that decreases in the center and increases on the sides. So you're starting with few stitches and you're getting wider and wider, but each stripe is only 10 rows. And that goes so fast. It's 10 rows, next color, 10 rows, next color. And then it goes on for a long time. It gets pretty big, bigger and bigger and bigger. And then suddenly you start to work this gorgeous piece of lace. Really lovely square of lace that just works its way onto the end. And I think this is going to be you need more than 1 skein for this lace. You need just over 1 skein. So it's going to be quite large. But I kind of feel when I finish this one, I'll just start another one because I don't know, it's just lovely. I can recommend it. I absolutely love it. So that I'm using, the yarn that I'd ordered for this particular project was from S. Teresa Yarns. And a lot of it was in this lovely gem base. I don't know if you know it. It's a 2-ply linen merino. Now, before I've used a linen merino that's a singles. It doesn't have a lot. I think it's got 15% linen in it, but it is so gorgeous. It's quite a light fingering, but it's got such a beautiful texture. It feels like silk, actually. It's really, really soft. So that's a lot of what's in this shawl. And it's a lovely shawl. It's really nice. And I will be doing a little live with Pia in October. I don't know if any of you watch her podcast, 50 Fabulous Knits. She's really great. She's so calm, and she's always in such lovely rural Italian environment, or somewhere in Texas. I really enjoy her. And so I'm going to participate in her knitathon that she's doing in the middle of October. So that is going to be great fun. And I'm planning to do a giveaway, and just for fun and for why not, just to celebrate.
Thank you. Just remind us the date again of that knitathon.
It's the 15th of October. Now, I'm not quite sure how it all works. I mean, she on her website, which is 50fabulous.dk, I think that's Denmark. You can go, she's got all the time slots when other podcasters are going to go live. So I guess you just have to go onto their site on YouTube to watch the live. I don't think it's a Zoom. It doesn't appear that I'm actually, for example, going to be speaking to Pia, for example, you know. So we all got time slots. And mine is, if I'm not mistaken, it's 5 p.m. and it is a Saturday, the 15th of October. I am going to be in Robertson with my friend Lenka. I'm going for the first 2 weeks of the Stephen West MCAL. We have a great tradition of doing MCALs together, Lenka and I. So I'm going up there for a couple of weeks. So maybe she will join me in the couple of the podcasts. And I think it was Jaylene. Does she do the South African MCAL Zoom? She's invited me to join that. She said, yes, your friend Lenka must also come. And so I'm just so excited about the sort of the local connections, because, you know, we hear and see all about this overseas, and you just feel like, yeah, you are on your own doing your thing. So that's going to be very exciting. Yeah.
Yeah, agreed. I'm also looking forward to the MCAL a lot. Mariette, is there anything on the comments?
Yes. Adela actually mentioned, she said that the Scrappy Striber is a summer top.
Okay.
Yes. And then Adele has also joined us, Adele from Hooked on Art. She says, hi everyone, I'm a little late to the party and now we have load shedding, but that shawl is absolutely stunning.
Good. I would suggest you do it. It's lovely. It just seems to fly by. Yeah, it's really good.
It's beautiful. Marina also says, I've watched all Pia's podcasts. So interesting.
Oh.
I actually discovered Pia only like a month or two ago, her podcast. One of the viewers of my podcast actually suggested the channel. And I've always heard about her, but never actually knew that she had a podcast. And when I looked at that, I was also hooked. So I'm also now a follower of Pia.
Yes. So, Mariette, do you have any works that you want to share?
I do, but I'm actually more excited about yours.
Not much to show.
Show us first, please.
First.
I would love to see.
First. Okay. Let's see. So I think everybody has become tired of this one, but I've added one more block to my Cozy Sock Memories blanket. I didn't do anything on the Golden Memories at all this month. But I mentioned last month that I wanted to do the, oh my goodness, Karina, the tan line joggers from Little Wolf Knits. And I did the gauge swatch. Oh, it's craziness in this bag, sorry. I did the gauge swatch this month. It took me 2 Sundays, but I got it done. And then this is what the bag of scraps looks like. I should maybe make a better plan because it's getting crazy in here. And this is how much I've done, Mariette.
At least it's a start.
Yeah, at least I've done the swatching and the provisional cast on, and I'm 3 rows into it. So it's boring, I know.
Is that a normal ribbing?
Sorry,
is that a, sorry for interrupting. Is that a normal ribbing, or do you do twisted ribbing for that, or do you not really do ribbing?
Okay, so it's a playful pattern, so I don't want to overshare too much, but you don't start with the ribbing. You start with the plain stockinette with some increases, and then looks like, hence the provisional cast on, you'll come back to the ribbing a little bit later.
Oh, okay.
Yes, yes. So the first part's going to be the easy part. I hope so. So yeah, that's all I have for Scrappy Projects.
Good. Okay. I'm looking forward to seeing those pants. I think they're going to be very nice and scrappy if I look at your bag of scraps.
Yeah, I was actually thinking I should maybe not do the entire leftover in blocks, but maybe every other row another color just to make it blend a little. I don't know.
That's a good plan, actually.
Yeah, I think I'm going to do that.
Okay, we are. I'm sure we are all looking forward to seeing that.
I'll wear it on episode, I don't know, 12 or 14 only probably.
Oh, that's fine. We shall see. Okay. So I will quickly show you my project here. I said in the last episode that I'm gonna try and get this blanket finished so that I can add a border to it. So I think we were here in the previous one and I still added all of those stripes. I didn't count them, so I'm not going to count them now. But yes, this blanket, I measured the blanket before we started and it measures 170 centimeters from top to bottom. So the length is 170 centimeters. So now I can do a border, but yes. It is so long, I don't know how to show it.
There's no other way. It's beautiful.
Thank you. I will actually, for next episode, I will go and check when I started this blanket, because in the next one, I will definitely add the border. So last time we spoke, actually, I was thinking of doing like a picot type of border. And I was watching another new to me podcast this week, Castle Handmade. It is one of her older podcast episodes. And she did a border around one of her blankets with bobbles, like a bobble border. And I want to try that. I think it will be so interesting to have little bobbles all over on the blanket on the side. So I'm going to try that out first. And if I like it, I'll do that.
I think it's going to look cute.
Yes.
I think it's a great idea. It will be great fun, really. I think it's a fantastic idea.
Yes, thank you. I also think so. Then in this month, I actually didn't touch my Tunisian honeycomb blanket, so I'm not even going to show that. I think when this one is finished, I'll put more effort into that one. But I did add just basically a stripe to my leftover blanket, which is still a baby. But yes. So this blanket's idea is, why I'm calling it the leftover blanket, is that I use all the little leftovers. If I finish the ball and I don't know that I'm going to use the end for something else in another project, I just grab it and work it in here. So this is the tulip stitch. So it's basically like corner to corner stitch, but in rows, not from the corner. Yes, and I think that is all of the projects that I am working on for Scrappy Projects.
Oops. Thank you, Marie. It's a nice blanket, that one. We're really looking forward to seeing the finished project. So the border, are you going to do it in one color, or are you also making the border a little bit crazy?
I'm not exactly sure yet. I was thinking on doing a single crochet that is now US terms, all around the blanket and then do the bobbles. So I was thinking maybe I should do the single crochet in one color and the bobble round in another color. And then I'll see if I feel like it, I might do the bobbles on one side in one color and on the other side in another color and at the bottom on another color. We shall see what I feel like when I do that.
That's also a plan.
Nice.
Okay. So I'm just going to push us a little bit, Mariette, if you don't mind, because we almost have to say goodbye to Sita. And we've still got some questions from our side. I'm not sure if there's going to be questions from the viewers. And I'm actually going to let you ask your question first.
Okay. So Sita, I wanted to ask you, for people who don't know you, where and how did your shawl knitting journey begin?
Well, I've always been a shawl wearer. Okay, I've never really been a person that will put on a jacket or a hoodie, or I will wrap myself in cloth. I've always been like that, and it was mostly not knitted. You know, it would be a lovely woven shawl, and I would wrap that around myself. But I studied textile design, so I'm very fascinated by actually creating textiles through knitting. And, you know, well, you would say, well, everything that's knitted is a textile. But that's correct. But I like to manipulate it so that it has a really beautiful drape, or you can knit it on the cross and so that it hangs properly. So I kind of started, you know, I think I would say probably in early 2000, I started just knitting big triangle, like, you know, granny shawls, as I would call them, just triangular shawls, and then adding fringes and doing bubbles and you know, adding lots of different little textural details to them. And slowly but surely, I discovered, mostly through mistakes, that if you used, you know, the wrong size needle on a thinner yarn, you'd get this lovely floppy thing, and you could manipulate it, and using mohair. So I started playing around, but what actually really changed my life, of course, is when I discovered the first Stephen West shawl that I ever knitted, which was the Pierre shawl, and then I also made the mold magic, and I discovered that you could actually knit pieces, you know, and because they would be hanging in different directions, they would cause different stretches. So basically, I just followed different ideas that I found through Stephen West patterns, and started playing around, you know, adding a bit of my own stuff, but I would always use some basic form until I discovered Suzanne Bryant. Now, I don't know if you know of her. She has the most amazing tutorials. And I think it was about 12 years ago or so, she started to put out some tutorials on shawl shapes, just basic, simple things of how to knit a semicircular shape, how to knit a triangular shape shawl. So, you know, I picked up on all of that, and I just carried on playing with it. And I started making shawls, and I started wearing them, and people just really loved them. So I was also never a fan of anything that you had to sew up. So as I was a kid, I knitted a lot when I was, you know, at school, a teenager, and even a bit younger. I used to knit a lot of sweaters and things, but I used to knit them. And then when I'd knitted all the pieces, I'd hand them over to my mother, and she would sew them up. And I don't know, at one stage, she said to me, I'm sorry, this is the end of the story now. No more wool. You're going to sew up your own jerseys, okay? So I was forced to do that. So I really hate doing that. So, you know, first of all, discovering circular needles and seamless knitting and one pieces of textiles. it just all went with my whole vibe of, once it's knitted, it's finished. That's it. You don't have to then stitch it up, and you have to block it, but that's a magic thing, and that's fine. So, I tend a lot to knit fabrics. At one stage, I was knitting fabric for a designer who would then cut it up into garments, which was quite fascinating, but it was a bit too painful for me, so I didn't do that. I mean, I didn't have to do the cutting, but I just thought, no, it's a crazy idea. But no, I just love shawls. I wear shawls, and I travel a lot with shawls, and people who see shawls, I sell quite a lot of shawls off my back, let's say, so yeah, it was also a very nice way of just making a bit of money until I sort of really got into it. And with all my traveling in India, I have access, and I meet a lot of foreigners and people who really understand more the whole idea of what a hand knitted item made out of pure wool with hand dyed wool, and are prepared to pay a price for things. I was very encouraged. So, I just stuck with that. And yeah, I continue to be a shawl knitter. This winter, actually, I've made myself a few sweaters, just because I found some designs that I really liked. But I'm not a big sweater wearer, and I rather just wear. Oh, I actually like pieces. So I make like a cowl, and then I've got these long sleeves that I've knitted, and fingerless mitts, and a hood like a balaclava, and then a very thick vest, and I don't know, odd bits. But so I've started knitting some garments this winter, but shawls are my passion, and Stephen West is my shawl guru. Yeah.
Thank you for that, Mariette. Let's just first hear if there's anything in the comments.
Leanie, I'm going to be with you now. I'm just checking something on my side quickly. Just give me a second.
Do we continue or do we wait for you?
No, you can continue talking. I'm just checking one of the comments on one of the people on the comments. Just a second.
Okay. So, Sita, you mentioned you spent a lot of time in India, and I saw on your YouTube channel you are looking forward to another trip in Feb. Do you want to tell us more about that?
Well, I ended up by chance, or I'm not quite sure how, but prior to COVID, I was in India for 12 years. I went initially just to see India, and then I ended up going on quite a deep spiritual path, and then I just stayed. I had to come back, every now and again for visa reasons. And one of the things that I eventually did quite a lot of was taking small, intimate tours, because I've lived in very sort of remote and out of the way places. And I also take craft tours, because I live in an area in the mountains where there is a lot of wool. It's very rough and not very commercially processed, but it's used a lot for weaving. And there are knitting projects there now as well, and there's a lot of natural dyeing. So I'm not allowed to have a paid job because I'm on a tourist visa. So I do voluntary work for NGOs who are normally funded with foreign funds, who are place themselves up there to teach the local ladies how to better their skills, how to make sellable garments and how to spin wearable yarn. So I met one of these, a Swedish woman, actually, by chance. I was on a hike, and I think I actually had some knitting with me, and we started speaking about knitting, and she said, well, I'm looking for an intern, I need somebody else to come along. So I went, and I would do that 2 or 3 times a year. I'd go for 2 months way up into some tiny little village, and they would pay for my accommodation, and they'd feed me, and I would work with the ladies. And just, help them, teach them how to knit on circular needles, which they'd never seen before. And actually started teaching them shawl knitting. They're fantastic knitters, really amazing knitters, but just needed that little bit of extra, because now, they were being paid for their work, and the work was actually being sold overseas. So they were wanting to make the quality of the work better, sort of more commercially viable. So that's what I was involved in doing, which was great fun. I mean, it was hilarious, and I would invariably live with one of the women's family who would be one of the many knitters. And if you live, it was on a farm, and there would be 4 generations of people living in this very large house, and me, And Indians, they don't really have a concept of privacy, unless the door's locked and you definitely can't get in. They're just going to come in, So you get used to it, especially the old grannies who, I speak a bit of Hindi, but I don't speak the Garhwali dialects and what have you. And there was this very old lady, and she would just come in. And it was like the window had like a mirror effect. So I could see out, but nobody could see in. So she would come to the window on the outside, and she'd be up against the glass, like trying to see, am I there? And if she couldn't see, she'd just open the door, and then she'd come in, and she'd sit on the bed, and she'd just look at me. And she'd just watch me. And if I was knitting, she'd like touch it. And then she would just start babbling away, talking. I couldn't understand any word of anything. And, for half an hour, she would just be there, and then off she'd go, So I had a lot of very interesting times living with these families, and learning, eating delicious food, and learning a lot about cooking the food. So I did eventually decide to start taking some craft tours, because there's a lot of craft there. Weaving, a lot of natural dyeing places where you can actually go and do workshops, and weaving, spinning, and then of course in Rajasthan you can go for all the textiles, you can go for the block printing and the embroidery. I mean, it's heaven. It's absolutely heaven for me, India, with textiles. So anyway, that is something that I was doing. If I wasn't doing that, I would just be doing a general tour for people who wanted to go to places in India that weren't sort of the usual tourist places that were overrun with the thousands of tourists, for example. So that is what I'm doing in February. I've got a 2-day trip where we're starting off in the desert. And there's this absolutely incredible music festival that they have every year. It's held in the fort. It's like fairyland, it's just hard to imagine. For me, the amazing thing about India is that it's so ancient, and there's so much ancientness around, and it's alive, It's not a museum. It's the fort. It's not a museum on top of the mountain, It's alive, living place, and they hold concerts there, and they keep camels there, and there's a temple, and so it feels like you're living like thousands of years ago. Everything's just going on. So we will spend some time there, and we go to this wonderful music festival, which is just mind-blowing. Not only Indian music, spiritual music from all over the world, Middle Eastern, South American, African, Irish, really wonderful. And then we will go to Jaipur, which is, they're called the Pink City. It's very famous. There are some amazing forts and palaces there, just mind-blowing, the architecture from, 4,000 years ago. And that is also the shopping mecca in India. If you want to go, you can go in 24 hours, you can choose your fabric and have your wardrobe made, and they'll deliver it to your hotel that evening, basically, So we go there, we do the shopping, and then we go up to the Ganges River, and we do quite a lot of, we do some overnight train trips, and very exciting Jeep journeys in the mountains. And we end up where I live, which is very high up in the mountains, which is just a place to just totally chill out and you just have this 360-degree view of the Himalayan snow peaks and forests and more mountains and just more mountains and temple bells ringing and little pathways where you can walk to different places and an Ayurvedic clinic. So yeah, that's what I'm doing in February. I take very small groups. I take maximum 8 people because I like the intimacy of the whole thing. And I also don't have like a, you know, like a hardcore today at 9 o'clock, we're up and we're doing this, then we're going here and then we're doing this and we're doing that. It's very laid back. We spend 3 or 4 days in each place so that we can orientate. And then I always sort of have a day of taking people around on foot, for example, in a city, showing them where everything is. And then probably with a guided tour or something. And then the next day it's free. You go wherever you want, you know, you go in the city, go do your thing. Here's the card. This is where you live, you know. You can show this to the taxi driver if you want to get home. And just let people do their thing. And they love that, you know, and I do too. It's great because it's quite high energy with people all the time, 24/7. But I have a lot of contacts after all these years. And I have this wonderful family who lives in Jodhpur, who are a 5th generation. They live in a Haveli, which is what we would call, it's like a palace or a homestead of a lord or a very rich person from thousands of years, well, hundreds of years ago. So they're the 5th generation and that live in this Haveli, and it's sort of set over quite a few hectares, but it's walled in, and each section has huge courtyards, and the rooms are, I mean, the steps are so huge, it's all stone slabs, and then the rooms still have the original mosaics and gold leaf paintings on the ceilings, and it's just absolutely wonderful. So we stay in places like that, which are not, you know, they are beautiful, but they are not like a 5-star hotel. It's a living place where the family lives. They cook for you. They teach you to cook. They cook for you. It's basic with a bit of comfort, and it's, for me, it's real. You know, I like people to interact with locals and to have more of a real experience rather than, you know, as I say, rather to be in India than to be looking at India. So that is what I offer, very, very close up. And I speak the language. So, you know, it's you can't really, people get ripped off quite a lot if you don't understand things. And so I'm quite helpful. And I also have a lot of friends who wouldn't dream of ripping off any of my people anyway. And yeah, we have a lot of fun. And we remain friends for, I have a few people that have been like 5 or 6 times. But I haven't been now for 3 years. I've been here. So I'm itching to get back. Yeah.
That sounds like a lot of fun.
It is. It is. It's an experience. And what's lovely about it is that, I mean, India's quite far. You can stay longer. I mean, my part of the tour is 2 weeks, but I find most people, if they can, they go away for a month. And once they've had 2 weeks with me, they feel a bit more comfortable to be able to go off on their own, or even to hang around up in the mountains, you know, where I go. And yeah, we just we get to really experience the place, and then you come back and you've absorbed a lot of stuff, and you're not rushed off your feet, and you know, like, sure, that went past, what's going on? Because there's a lot of that in India, you know. We go there, but then we also go to the other places where you can process it and enjoy the peace. And most people say, I really didn't know that this existed, you know, that you could find a place like this in India. So yeah, I love India. India is my home completely. Yeah.
I see we have quite a few comments as well. Kerry said that the internet connection is bad, so she must say good night. Thanks for the company. Marina says, I love knitting, but don't know if I will be able to do it for 24 hours. And Adela's answered Marina actually, and she said, I couldn't either. My eyes got too tired, and I love my beauty sleep too much. I actually missed one comment that Adela first said that she participated in the first 24-hour knitathon by Pia earlier this year on her own. And it's a nice excuse to give yourself permission to do nothing else but crafting.
It is. It's wonderful.
And,
I call it a knitting retreat. It's perfect.
Wonderful.
That's all the comments, Mariette.
I'm almost through there. Ursula said she's back. Ella says, I think the bubbles will do great on the blanket. And then Claudia also says, hello, hello. I'm glad you're still on. I'm about to sit down and watch and rewatch the parts that I've missed. And Yalim says, I love your stories about India, Sita.
Wow.
And then I think we are caught up.
Good.
Okay. So, Sita, you mentioned that you need to be gone.
Yeah,
10 minutes
I should be going any minute now. Well, you know, nobody's I go when I'm ready, but I should leave by 7:10, and I'm not a late person, you know. I'm an on-time person, so I will have to be leaving. It's been really great fun and just so lovely. You know, I just have to say that, you know, I started my podcast. I wanted to do it a while ago, and in fact, last year I bought a tablet specifically to start doing the podcast, and it got stolen about 6 weeks after I had a robbery, and everything got stolen, and so I was devastated. So anyway, I then ended up buying the secondhand laptop, and I gave up the idea of the YouTube and everything. And then one day, I don't know what, I was one Sunday, it was about 3 months ago, sitting in the lounge, and I was doing something with the laptop, and I thought, let me just see like what quality this video is, you know. And I thought, yes, it works. So I just published this. I immediately, I had no plan to publish. I just published it. That was it. And I just started meeting all you ladies. And it was just like, wow, so wonderful for me, you know, because I really have felt quite displaced these past 3 years. You know, I do have one or two. I have a lot of friends, European friends, you know, from my lifetime in India, and crafters, all sorts of amazing crafters. And we spend a lot of time together doing this kind of thing. And here the distances are so far. And I just got such wonderful encouragement from everybody, you know. I just thought, this is terrible. I don't know how to make it any better, but just too bad. I'm going out there, you know. And I think it was Adela said to me, don't worry, just do it, it's fine, you know, it'll get easier, it doesn't matter, just go for it. I don't know how to edit either, you know. So that was very encouraging. And then I think yesterday I got a follower, I got a subscriber, and she said one of the things she loves is that my YouTube, my channel is not so polished. It's very like real life as it is. And I thought, well, either she's just trying to be nice, or I'm very happy, because that's it. That's exactly how it is. And that's why I called it the Shawl Knitter Unplugged, because I'm pretty much unplugged from technology. I don't know how to do a lot of things. It's a little bit frustrating, but I realize that the way I'm doing it now is also okay. If I get better, that will also be okay. So yeah, I'm loving it. I feel like I found a new family on YouTube. It's really great. And I really, thanks for inviting me to join you.
Thanks from my side, Sita. We really enjoyed it. And thanks for your stories. I also enjoy your podcast a lot, your YouTube channel, and listening to all of your stories, and wish I could go with you to India. But yeah.
Well, you never know. You never know.
Maybe next year or the year after.
Who knows? You know, wouldn't it be wonderful to take a group of crafters, you know, of us fiber fans, and go and do something sort of like the Best Marigold Hotel. Did you see that? You know, have a soiree around all of us ladies. in India, all in color. It's so colorful. I'm telling you, it's so wonderful. It's just, it's really rejuvenating, you know. It's beautiful. Mm.
Okay.
So good. I will now leave you, and I will be seeing you on your future podcasts, and looking forward to keeping in touch. And I guess we might have some contact through the MCAL Zooms, which will be lovely. Looking forward to seeing Mariette. Are you doing it? The MCAL.
The MCAL. No, unfortunately not. I have a make along that I'm hosting for the month of October, so I will be a little bit busy with that. But I just wanted to also say thank you so much for coming. We really appreciate it, and sharing all of your stories. And don't worry about editing videos. You just do what you love, and we love watching them. So
thanks. Thank you.
Thumbs up for you. Thank you so much.
Thanks a lot. Thanks. Take care. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
See you next time. Bye. Bye-bye.
So that was fun.
All right. I see we have some more comments. Let me just quickly see. Yaline was loving the stories about India, and then Claudia asked what the podcast was called. I answered that one for her. It's called the Shawl Knitter Unplugged. And then Yaline also said, oh my head, going all together to India would be awesome. We will take the place by storm, I think. We wouldn't have big enough bags to bring everything back that we want.
That's true. So we are a little bit over an hour now. So we normally try to stick to an hour. Are we going to do the recommendations, Mariette?
We can do that if you like, or if you think it's too long, then we did link everything, or we can just go over them, just show them basically, and people can just see what they look like, and then maybe not talk so much about them. They're beautiful anyway. I think they can speak for themselves.
Okay, so I'm going to share the first one that you wanted to talk about. Didn't know. Let's see.
All righty. So this is a designer on Ravelry that was suggested by Claudia, the floral hook, and she's got quite a lot of beautiful throw patterns on her Ravelry store. I think if I remember correctly, she's got 52 patterns, and they are really, really pretty. You must really go check them out. They are very nice, and that is her Ravelry store front, I would say. Yes, they're very pretty. I'm really enjoying looking at those. I might try some soon. I think you can move over.
These are amazing.
Yeah, beautiful.
Okay. So then the other suggestion we had that's also very beautiful in my eyes are these Scrappy Granny Scrappy Pillows. So it's by Donna Ray Makes, and she actually has a knitted version as well. We unfortunately do not have pictures of that right now, but there's also a good suggestion for a scrappy project around the house.
Yes, that is beautiful. You always just see the granny square crochet version, and yeah, the knitted version looks very nice as well. Okay, let me see.
And then there's one more for you, Mariette.
Yes. So this is, it seems I'm into stripes at the moment. I'm looking at all stripy things. So this is a Boatneck top that is a free pattern on Yarnspirations. I think the original is actually made with a bamboo yarn, and its skill level is easy. So I think it's something nice for someone to try their hand maybe at. Maybe if they're a little bit new to knitting and have lots of scraps and want to experiment, this looks like a very nice experimentation pattern to me. We have linked all of them down below, so you're more than welcome to check them out if you like.
Mariette, I'm gonna gossip a little bit here, but did you see Hilda's Slow Life podcast?
Yes,
for yesterday?
I did. I did. I see that Adela is going
trouble.
to have to knit.
Oh, I really enjoyed
days.
it. And the froffles. So those of you that have not watched Hilda's Slow Life podcast yesterday, please go and watch it. I really enjoyed yesterday's episode. I'm still giggling about some of the things that she said.
I'm making a note and I will link the specific episode for you down below, then you can go and have a look at that. It is very funny because we are Afrikaans speaking and she was talking about language and yarn ends and things. So it's very funny. It's really good. Really good. Okay, let me see. I've got one more comment from Marina, which is you mentioned the October Cal. Any news? We'll all have to just wait a teensy bit more. This week it will all be revealed. I promise. What do you usually say, Leanie? You're killing me. Sorry, people. Oh, okay. I think that might be it for us for this episode. It was nice and long and we had a lovely chat. I don't know if there's anything else you would like to mention, Leanie.
No, so from my side, thank you everybody for watching and for joining us. We really enjoy these sessions. It's lots of fun. And we hope that you enjoy them as well. And yeah, keep on giving us suggestions for Scrappy projects. We take note of them and we enjoy sharing other people's ideas with you guys. So yeah, enjoy the upcoming month. That feels weird to say, but yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Leanie. Yes, it does feel a little bit weird to say it's already a month has ended again. But thank you guys so much for joining us. We really appreciate all of your support and coming and helping out with suggestions and help us all out to find new beautiful projects to keep us busy. So thank you so much from our side and we shall see you next month. Thank you, everyone. Bye.
Bye-bye.